You think you're so funny. You call yourself a cook? You're not fit to pluck my feathers. What are these spices you're using? You don't know how to use spices. What kind of name is rye?
Jerk chicken. Don't worry, I showed that chicken. I cut him up into quarters and ripped his skin off. Does that sound right? Does that sound okay? And we're gonna use that bird today to make jerk chicken. You can see down here we've got a whole bunch of spices and other ingredients that are gonna go into our jerk chicken marinade. Making the marinade is extremely simple. First step is we gotta just take some stems off these habanero peppers. So this recipe calls for 3 habanero peppers, 3 Scotch bonnet peppers. You can use either one. All we have to do is remove the stem. We're just gonna cut the stem end off. You notice gloves, really good idea when you're working with peppers like this. All right, our habaneros are destemmed, and now we're ready to get everything else into the blender. I'll be putting a list of these ingredients for this jerk chicken marinade in the video description, so if you want to look at it that way you can, or you can just follow along here. 1 large bunch of scallions that have been chopped up. We have 2 shallots that have been peeled and roughly chopped. We have 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. That's about 3 cloves of crushed garlic. We have a smallish piece of ginger, maybe 2 inches, that's been peeled and coarsely chopped. We have our 3 habaneros with their stems removed. We have a tablespoon of dried thyme, or you can use a 1/4 cup of fresh thyme. 2 tablespoons of allspice. A 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Got a tablespoon each of salt and pepper. A tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. You could use white vinegar if that's all you have. 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. We have the juice of 2 limes. And then 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. We're going to set the blender here on food chop. We're just going to let it work through and chop everything up. Now we're going to switch over to puree. Just going to get a little on a spoon to see how we're tasting. That is really good. Wow. I'm going to try that again. Wow, that is nice. So I am totally pleased with this marinade right now. Time to get it on the bird. So what I have here in the bowl is a whole chicken that's been quartered and skinned. I left the skin on the wings just because wings are really hard to remove skin from, so it doesn't really matter. What we're going to do now is pour our jerk marinade right over this chicken and give it a great bath in all these flavors. If that looks like a lot of marinade, it is, but that's okay. And we are just going to work it all over this chicken. What we want is a complete coating of every part of the chicken. It's almost like a soup in here. This chicken is going to marinate in this for 10 hours. You can go overnight if you want to. I'm going to marinate it for 10 hours before it goes out on the grill. Everything is coated. We're going to cover this bowl, get it in the refrigerator, let this chicken marinate for about 10 hours. Then I'll bring you back when we take it out to the Weber Kettle.
All right, so our kettle is at about 400 degrees. Our jerk chicken has been marinating for actually over 12 hours instead of 10. I'm actually doing this the following morning. So we've had a good marinade overnight. Time to get these chicken pieces on. I have the vortex set up in the center of the kettle, about 2/3 full of charcoal briquettes. They're not 100% lit yet, which is fine. They're going to continue to light and give us a lot of building heat in here after we put these marinated chicken pieces on. Going to get a temperature probe in one of these breasts here. All right, that's good. Run my wire over to the slot here. Got an internal meat temperature of 41. Perfect. Came out of the refrigerator about 10 minutes ago. So It's right where we should be. We're gonna take these to about 150 degrees, then I'm gonna give them a quick sear depending on how they look. So once they hit that 150, I'm gonna put them directly over the charcoal for a little color. But we'll see how much color they develop. All right, time to get the lid on and let these get cooking. Temperature's coming back up. Bring you back when we're ready to check these. Okay, our chicken is showing 150 internal temperature. Let's give it a look. Oh, nice color. Really nice color so far. Still want to give it some more directly over the coals. And then we'll do checks with the instant read thermometer to see where we are in each piece. Just want to sear the back side of these two pieces. Lost a little bit of the coating on the other two, so I'm just going to sear the back side since these are so close to being done. All right. Let's check this thigh over here for temperature. That one's looking good, 165. Let's check this breast here. Breast is about 152, a little bit more to go there. Okay, so the breasts need a few more minutes. Leg quarters are done, so I'm going to pull those off. Going to get the lid back on, and I'll check these again in about 5 minutes. All right, it's been about 5 minutes. Let's give our 2 chicken breast pieces on there. We'll check for temperature. Or 165 internal is what we want for our final temperature. 164.8. I'm going to say that's good because it's going to rise a little bit more as we go inside. All right, let's get these in and give them a taste. So here is our jerk chicken. I've got a breast piece, a leg quarter. They smell amazing. I had a little taste of just the stuff that fell off. It's great. But now I want to cut into these before we take a taste. I'm just going to cut into the breast. We'll cut into the thigh to taste it, but thigh meat is dark meat, so I just really want to see this breast. Oh, yes. Very juicy. See if you can see how juicy that is here. Super moist. All right, I got a taste. All right, I'm gonna go straight for that piece that I cut from the breast first. Ooh. Now, without the skin on this, you don't have to worry about crisping the skin up, obviously. But you're also getting a direct penetration all across the flesh of the chicken. So you do have to be careful about it drying out. That's why you have to really watch those temperatures in there and the internal temperature so that you're not drying this out without that protective coating of the skin and the fat layer on it. But I think we're doing okay with the amount of juice that's coming out of this. Let's see. Oh, that is really, really nice. You know, some things have like that bang flavor. This has such a nice flavor. I'm not saying it's not like, wow, it's just such a pleasing flavor that very first bite. I'm gonna try some from the thigh now. This is just really flavorful, really good. The heat level on it, let me see if I can give an example. If you've ever ordered hot wings and you have those choices of mild, medium, and hot, this is right at medium. With those 3 habaneros in there and the other spices, it's nowhere near approaching that sort of flaming hot. In fact, it might be just slightly below medium. So you could dial this up easily by adding more habaneros, more spice. I think this is perfect for this sort of chicken though. Get some more of that wonderful dark thigh meat here. Oh. It's so interesting when I do a rub, you know, I try and do 5 ingredients or less. This isn't a rub, this is a marinade. This is a collection of spices that people have developed over time. There are many different jerk chicken recipes. This is sort of a mashup of those recipes, things I've done before with jerk chicken to try and come to this flavor profile. And it really does work. That heat level, those spices, just awesome. So you can't be afraid of using more ingredients than necessary if the recipe calls for that. This marinade penetrates so deeply when you leave it in, 10, 12, 14, 24 hours, and it just permeates through the chicken. It's not a surface flavor. You do get that from that marinade that's left on the top and it sort of bakes on indirect, but the flavor is so deep within this chicken and so moist. It's almost like a brining process when you brine chicken with that marinade,
with this chicken almost submerged in it. I think the biggest thing to remember here is don't be afraid of those habaneros. It's not an excess amount of heat, but man, does it add some flavor into these. I'm sure you could dial that back if you wanted to, maybe put one in. But there's really not an excess amount of heat. Now, I do like a lot of heat, but I can generally tell levels of heat when I'm eating or making something. And this really is that sub-medium level of heat. I would make this again in a heartbeat. Like I mentioned, there are hundreds and hundreds of jerk chicken recipes out there. If you have a good recipe for a marinade and you want to share it, drop it in the comments down below. I'm sure people would love to see it. I'd love to see it and see what other people do with their marinades. This one works really well. I'm open to trying other things too. This is just so good. Just a super pleasing flavor on this. It's great on that breast meat, but man, does it shine with the thigh meat. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to check out some of the other videos on my channel and consider subscribing. And if you do, click that bell for notifications. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a great day. I'll see you again soon.